Live from the universe, welcome to Spiritual Awakening with Dr. Aaron. It's time to claim your birthright of prosperity, vitality, and love. So grab your tea or coffee because together we're awakening the world. May you live your truth. Today, I'd love to share some secret hidden wisdom in the Bible from a metaphysical standpoint. Welcome to Spiritual Awakening with Dr. Aaron. I'm super excited to take this journey of unlocking the secret and keys to your mind. If you're anything like me, I never understood the Bible. I was somebody who really did not understand what was really being said through these allegories, what was really there. And if you're somebody who's coming from a traditional religious background, I'm so honored to have you here as we open up our mind, no matter where we are, to understand the hidden secret truths within the Bible. So today we're going to break on down Noah's Ark. What is the Ark? What is the water? How is this a biography and a manuscript for you to unlock the secret superpowers within you to withstand any flood, anything in life that's overwhelming, that makes everything go away? The Bible is your biography. The Bible is a manuscript for you to understand how to use the power of your mind to withstand anything, whether it be, floods, whether it be pandemics, whether it be crucifixion, whether it be whatever it is in your life, the hardest things you've ever been through. Maybe it was a heartbreak. Maybe it was losing a loved one. Whatever that is, today, we're going to break on down how Noah's Ark is here to teach you how to use your mind to unlock the temple of your mind to become immortal, invincible, and prevail no matter what happens in life. So again, welcome to the Dr. Aaron podcast, Spiritual Awakening. We come together to know the truth. Right here, right now, the reason why I chose to do this is because, one, I'm trained in metaphysics. So I want to disclose here that I'm not a historical biblical person, that the Bible can be interpreted in many, many different fashions, everything from astrology to numerology to literal terms to historical things like that. My genius and what I'm trained in is to teach metaphysics, to teach how the creative process of how we're manifesting, how you are manifesting with the power of your mind, and how these stories are here to teach you the truth of who you are. So let's just take a step back for a minute, really kind of recapping on some of the things we've gone over in this Metaphysical Bible podcast series. So we went obviously through the days of creation and how in your own mind, you're able to, how you create life into existence, how you divide yourself and mind, how you have an inner world and an outer world, and how there are different waters of the consciousness and subconscious and all the different dynamics. We went through Adam and Eve and understanding how the Garden of Eden is the garden within, that place that's the temple that is literally heaven, really in heaven, and how you cast yourself out from the Garden of Eden by, choosing to have judgment, choosing to see things as good or bad, which means you divide yourself from yourself, that you are resisting the mind, the divine mind that you already are, and how you cast yourself out in this. And then you have the story of Cain and Abel, and really how you can live in scarcity or abundance, and how you can make things wrong or right, and how it ends in such predictable ways. We look at good and evil and God and evil, and this is really terms that are coming from good and evil. Understanding that the Zion is the hemisphere of the brain, right? That there's all these symbols, and all comes down to teaching you about yourself. So today we're going to break on down Noah's Ark. What is the Ark? What is the water? And it brings me to the saying that goes like this: nations are born of those who love the truth and are buried when they forget it. So today, as I look out to the world in this manuscript of life, we can see how we are crumbling. And we can see how the only thing that's going to make it work and heal is by knowing the truth, by truly being on principle of truth. So we're going to look at the symbology of flood and water and all this stuff that's taking place as you. Noah represents, the part of us that Noah was what was considered the only person that put God first. Noah was that person that was really in principle of understanding that he had to only go within for his wisdom, for his intuition, for his knowingness, for his guidance, all that. And everybody here on earth was seeking things outside thyself, and there was violence and there was cruelty and all this stuff. Noah represents that part of you that if you were to imagine what your life would be like. Imagine what your life would be like if you went to the temple within and you went to God first for everything. You never seek answers outside of yourself. You never look to the world. You never put your power and status and ego and all that out there, that you're somebody that literally lived from the truth. So we have to understand again that the whole Bible is here teaching us how to use our mind. The Bible is teaching us the evolution of mind, right? The Old Testament is the Old Testament, which is the old way of thinking. The Old Testament is about the laws and how if you violate the laws, you'll suffer. And there's vicious cycles and human cycles and all the cycles of all the astrology, all is taught in that. If you follow other gods outside the self, place your power in the outer world, you will be enslaved and you will die as in human form, right? The New Testament is the New Testament, the new way of thinking. The New Testament is beyond the laws. This is what Christ consciousness was teaching. And Jesus was not teaching for you to put Jesus on a pedestal and put something outside of yourself. Jesus was teaching the Christ consciousness, how you too will do things greater than I, as he said, right? Teaching us how to resurrect the mind. That's what Jesus was teaching us what you already have in you. Knowing that there's jewels, these jewels of the 7 chakras. The crown is your 7th chakra, right? It's a chakra on the head. The 8 chakras, the this, the that, all that, the Gentiles, all this is all a manuscript for you to understand the power of your own mind. The Bible is the evolution of how we use the mind and all the allegories to teach us how to be the ultimate creator. The Bible is the book about how you create. And so in this, I know that you easily can be fooled and put yourself out there in the world and not put God first. And trust me, I know it so well. Having suffering, having division, making people wrong, being in the human vicious cycle, it is hell on earth, right? So let's break this on down from Noah's Ark. We're going to break it on down from like a 2nd grade perspective, because that's pretty much the best way, right? So here you have Noah, right? You have Adam and Eve, and they had Cain and Abel, and all the insanity that happened, right? And then you have generations later, and you have this consciousness called Noah. And it said that in the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, on that day, all the springs of great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and the rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. So again, from a 2nd grade perspective, God said, "You're a good man, Noah. You're righteous. The world has become evil, and all the people in the world deserve to die." And Noah said, "But God, these are your people. Have mercy on them." And God said, "No, Noah, the world has to be destroyed. I will send a flood that will destroy all of earth. It will rain without end for 40 days. All living beings will be destroyed." Noah said, "So it be. Let my will be done." God said, "Fear not, Noah. I have come to warn you because you have been a good man. You and your family will survive the flood." Noah said, "You are merciful, my God." And God said, "You will have to build an ark for you and your family." And Noah said, "What is an ark, my Lord?" And God said, "A big wooden boat. You will build this ark to protect your family in the flood. The ark should be big enough for your family and the animals and so on and so forth." And Noah said, "But I have no knowledge of how to build an ark." And God said, "Don't worry, I will give you instructions." And Noah said, "Okay, I will follow your instructions and do as you say." So I think there's so much symbology of how we create in this. One, it's almost like a spiritual awakening, right? When we have a spiritual awakening, when there's floods, when life is so overwhelming, we go to a place within, we start to build, we start to go within, right? And things start to disappear, right? You'll notice that the people you hung out with, the construct that you lived in, the programming, how things are, all of it begins to disappear. This is truly the dying, the self-dying within thyself, right? That there's a flood that happens that it's so overwhelming. that you can't even survive anymore, right? You can't survive. The only way you can survive is to go within and surrender to that part within yourself. Noah said, but I don't know how to build an ark. He said, I don't have knowledge of how to build an ark. And this is what we teach. We can't know how. That's called outlining. When we just surrender to the one next inspired action that Spirit, God tells us, it brings the next wisdom. It will bring you instructions. You don't have to figure out how. You don't have to figure out how to save the world. You don't have to figure out how to save yourself. You don't have to figure out all of it. You just have to take the one next inspired action, which is going within and listening for the instructions from your higher self. This is the way. As it states, I am the way. You need to go inside and know the I am identity, your true self, that pure potential. And in that, all wisdom is known, right? So the rain began for 40 days. And then here's Noah. The 40 days have come and gone, and Noah's floating for 150 days straight after. Noah releases a pigeon and a crow out to see if there's any dry land, but they didn't find dry land. And then a few days later or whatever, it releases a dove, and the dove goes out and it comes back with an olive branch, which is a sign that Earth is emerging, that life is here. And so what does this represent for you? What does this mean today? How can you use this wisdom today? Because what good is wisdom if it's not applicable today? The promise is when you go through a spiritual awakening, everything you've ever known or have attached to has to go away. That this is the peril of non-truth, that truth only prevails. People go away. The construct you've lived in goes away. Everything washes away. And what happens when you go and build the ark? This ark of this golden temple within, right? That holds all your beloved. Your intuition, your guidance, your righteousness, your good life, the things that you love all come with you. The ark is to save Noah from the flood. But what is the ark? What's the symbology of the ark? The ark is the fountainhead of wisdom. The ark is the pure golden chest. The ark is the deliverance and the sacred vessel. And the water represents the psychic principle. The water represents all that psychic principle. And if you don't get your mind right, and if you don't build something that goes above and beyond the psychic part of yourself, you will become the effect. You've got to build an ark that rises above, always, above everything going on in the world. This is the truth. The ark is actually the aura that you have from ear to ear. It's actually the halo that you have. This is the arc line. It's called it's like the 6 of the 10 bodies. It's the arc line in the Kundalini teachings, right? This is the arc line. This is how we do breath work. This is how we go into meditation and prayer and connect and build that halo, build our sacred union as the one within. And this is the halo. This is what saves us. Nothing else can save us other than the pure consciousness that's connected with the divine. Right? Water will take whatever shape you give it. Water will take on whatever frequency you give it. Water is only calm when it's guided from Spirit. May your will be gone. May you surrender to the will within, knowing the truth that nothing can touch you. You become untouchable. You become eternal. You become immortal, and the truth prevails, right? God is in direct communication with Noah. He doesn't go to the outside world for anything. He goes straight to within for all wisdom. Imagine if you did this every day. Imagine if you didn't look to the world. Imagine if you never made anyone wrong. Imagine if you only went to source, into God, into yourself for all wisdom, all knowingness, all next one inspired action. Imagine what your life would be. Right? You can save yourself. This is the truth of who you are, right? That this is the metaphysical truth, that there's a part of us that is in the Garden of Eden at all points in time. And then the moment that we divide ourselves in mind, the moment that we judge anything separate from ourselves, that we cast ourselves into this earthly realm. We become mortal, right? That this is the power of who you are. Matthew 6:33 states, "Seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added." You guys know I love to change this. To seek the kingdom of God and her righteousness, and all things shall be added. It also stated, seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need. Seek the kingdom of God and everything else and live righteously, and she will give you everything you need. God is not a man or a woman. You are God. You are the divine. Seek the temple within. Seek and build that ark so strong that you're able to withstand anything. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is the story of Noah. You are the story of Noah. You are that part that if you build that ark, if you only seek God first, that you will be able to withstand the most treacherous waters. You will be able to withstand the floods. You will be able to overcome anything that happens in this earthly realm. But you must seek that place and build that ark. So today, as you go into your life and know that, look, you chose this. You chose to seek truth. And I know that people who are spiritual don't just, believe in heaven and hell. They know heaven and hell. We've been through those floods. We've been to those places where we felt like we're going to die. And I know you've probably began to build that ark, but I'm inviting you to say, probably get real with yourself. Like, do you really only seek God first? Do you really go within and build the ark, the halo that's so strong that nothing can get in? And I would bet no. I would bet it's not that strong. I can say it for myself. There's been times when that ark and that temple and that everything has been so strong. And there's times when my spiritual practice is not as strong. And I begin to get human again. I begin to drown in the human beingness, in the cycles and the vicious cycles. And then I'm like, oh yeah, my will be done. My individual will be done. Let me hand it over again. Let me build that temple. Let me build that ark, right? This is ongoing. The Bible is not some story that happened. It's always happening right here, right now. And so I just say, thank you, thank you, thank you. May you build your ark. May you absolutely build that halo of truth. May you have the golden temple of the jewels of who you are and be able to withstand anything and be there for others to help them survive through these trying times. So I just say, thank you, thank you, thank you. May you live your truth. So if you've got wisdom and you enjoy this podcast, I'm going to ask you to please share, like, and subscribe. It's really important that we support people that we love and people bring truth to the world. Also, if you are interested in getting involved in an extraordinary community, getting into doing your inner work, your trauma work, or breaking through your limited beliefs, I do breakthrough and discovery calls. Right now, I'm doing them on Wednesday. I'll leave a link below. Also, we develop spiritual entrepreneurs. We facilitate and help people facilitate the E4 trauma method and becoming master spiritual psychology coaches. We also train and develop spiritual practitioners and new thought, ancient wisdom teachers, ministers, and speakers. And we develop doctors of divinity. So if you've had a calling, you can DM me, and it's amazing. You guys, we've got the best community, honestly. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth. Also, there's other podcast series. You can binge all of them. There's so many here. Everything from E4 Trauma Method, Birthing Your Truth Through the Truth Triangle, My Awakening book, to Money Breakthrough series, all kinds of them, you guys. Universal Laws, the 52 Universal Laws, so on and so forth. So have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth. Thank you for tuning into the Dr. Erin podcast. If you've had a spiritual calling or desire to get certified as a spiritual coach or a world-renowned spiritual leader, go to newthoughtglobal.com. If you've received value from this show, I would love it if you share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review. Also, we have spiritual practitioners that are trained to deliver the E4 trauma method and assist you in birthing your truth. So let's be friends on social media. Again, my handle is draaron.tv across all social media. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth.